My Hero Academia.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. You got to make it fun somehow. This is My Hero Academia chapter 3. This is My Hero Academia chapter 375, Chaotic Confusion. Last we left off, everything started going sour for the heroes. We had Kurogiri wake up and start teleporting reinforcements to various places where the villains were having a tough time, specifically with Endeavor and Hawks versus All for One in his new awakened form, and Shigaraki with everybody, pretty much the world, at his back. And last we left off there, we had Twice apparently come through the portal, but it's actually Toga using Twice's quirk to wreak mayhem on what's going on there. And we figure out how that whole thing started to how that whole thing came together. We cut to Okuto Island, where Asui and Uraraka are fighting Toga. Toga is Uraraka is just trying to like figure out how to take her down because Toga has this trick for concealing her presence, and she's figuring that it'd be good to have a sensory type hero back them up. Big Gang Orca, I almost called him Big Orca. His name is Gang Orca. I gotta remember the name.
Okay.
Gang Orca. He's
back,
like
Gang Orca back for his like third appearance in 400 chapters.
Yeah. He was somewhat prominent in the original war. He was there. He existed.
Yeah, didn't they tease that he was going to do some cool shit in that war, and then they like didn't show it?
Yeah. Brian, from my memory of just reading the series over, yes, that's exactly what happened.
He's like, time for me to do some cool shit.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to do cool shit just
off screen.
Off camera.
Just so we can't see it. Read Vigilantes if you want to know what he does here.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
No.
Tune in to SBS for after this.
Yeah. Anyway, he's headbutting a Nomu right now, so I guess his like sensory powers are gonna have to wait. I know he has sonar and stuff, so
sonar.
We see that Toga is actually like thinking more strategically. Apparently, according to the narration, we see that Himiko Toga's actions were rarely driven by any sort of big picture strategizing. However, her rancor, I don't know what that means. Brian, could you look up what rancor means?
It's a Bleach thing, isn't
it? What?
Yeah.
Oh, and a rancor? Look at this guy.
No, rancor is something else.
Pulling out deep cut references.
Maybe it's her quirk.
I don't think that's what her quirk is. Her rancor. I would be surprised. Anyway, her rancor completely transformed her into a full-fledged villain as she is about to take Twice's blood. Asui peeps that shit and is like, bleh! She does her Yoshi tongue directly at the vial. But unfortunately, Shirajuar, it was a decoy, and Himiko Toga manages to transform into Asui at some point, and then drink the blood, allowing her to transform into Twice, and is now able to use his quirk. And at that very moment, that's when the Kurogiri portal pulled up. And he's like, must save Shigaraki and his allies. Himiko Toga, what do you want to do? And he's like, to slaughter the heroes, starting with Hawks. Because, that's fitting. So, yeah, that's how she ended up where she is. As she's being teleported away, Uraraka tries to reach out for her. And she's like, get back here. We still haven't had our chat about romance. Anyway,
this didn't move to Toga.
Yeah, Toga was like, if only we could have, but I'm a grown man now and I have to teleport over to somewhere else. Uh, so yeah, she says she wished she could have. We return to the Gunga Mountains and we get this weird narration thing where we get an explanation of just what we know by now. And then we get a big 2-page spread where Toga uses Sadman Parade infinite doubles, where there's just like a tsunami of Twice clones approaching everyone. And everybody's like, fuck, no. But the chapter ends with a little beacon of hope, I guess, as guess who pulls through the portal? It's Asui and Uraraka. We have pretty much like everybody reacting to them, and there is a little panel of the weather lady, I guess, to remind us that a storm is coming soon, and that's probably going to be a little bit of a saving factor in all this.
Could be Bakugo's awakening or whatever.
Oh my god.
Because the same thing happened around the weather started changing around the time that Bakugo died. So
yeah, how much you want to bet this lightning comes down and acts as a defibrillator for Bakugo's heart? That is now,
I don't think
that is
so.
now Ed's shot. Let me get this theory out, Brian, because I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. It's going to be Ed's shot. He's going to get a shock to the heart. It's going to be like, and it's going to bring Bakugo back to life. That's what I'm going with.
You know what? You won me over.
If that happens, Brian, what will you do? I feel like it's very likely, to be honest. It feels like it's somewhat likely to happen that Bakugo's second chance at life comes at the end of a lightning strike directly onto his edge-shot heart. But
I hope not.
Anyway, that was the end of the chapter. That was a chapter. Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
So, I wasn't really excited or really down about the chapter. It was just moving things along, I suppose. So with that said, I remember talking so much shit about how we're never gonna see Uraka and this girl like resolve their little situation or whatever. So I guess we're gonna get that. So I should eat, whatever. L for me, whatever.
Well, we'll
see what he does
still here.
with it.
Hey, don't lose hope.
Huh?
Ochaku went through the portal. So did Asui. So there's still hope.
But here's the problem.
That's the point.
Is that subplot sucks ass.
I
never liked it. I never gave a fuck about this whole like forced love triangle. Like,
I'll tell you
nothing
what,
about this is interesting.
Exactly, has no idea about anyway. He has no idea.
Exactly.
He like him.
I'll tell you what, Brian, you're not wrong. This plot point does indeed suck ass.
The only woman he cares about in his life is his mom.
Which, as he should. His mother's a saint. But yeah.
Deku's like, pussy? What that got to do with saving the world? What that got to do with all for one?
Yeah.
One for all.
Yeah, man. Continue, Josh. I don't know if you have any more thoughts, but
I wonder if all my ever told a girl, like, bitch, that pussy is one for all.
Pussy.
What?
One for me and the crew.
That pussy is one for the streets.
He's the symbol of peace. That's how you keep the peace.
This is
let me stop being. No, it's not. Oh, my phone didn't drop, but my iPad did.
Hey man, don't jinx it.
Yeah, Brian said it right. I don't care for this conflict. That's why I wrote it off weeks and months, like a couple months ago when I said they would never return, because I didn't care if they returned or not. But I hope I have a reason to return. I really like these last few panels. I mean, the last page with all of them kind of, getting ready to confront these situations, like the look on their face. Who's this lady at the bottom again? Did you guys
The
talk
weather
about
lady.
that?
It was like a chapter ago or so where the lady was like, there's a big storm developing and it's going towards Japan. And also, the world governments are pussy for letting Japan fight this battle all by themselves.
Yeah.
Well, we already know that USA has Kinjaku, that they had a meeting with him, so they couldn't go.
That's true.
Right. They were booked.
That's what he was talking
They all
about.
share the same universe.
Yeah, they had shit to do.
Yeah.
I don't really have too many other thoughts. Brian.
What did you think, Brian?
You know, for all my defending My Hero Academia before, I never really enjoyed the Toga like romance subplot thing that they were trying to do. It was never really a good one for me. I never tried like I never really been a fan of Toga in general, to be honest.
don't believe you.
I've always enjoyed everybody else, but I feel like Toga being wasted as this kind of, you know, crazy, like hopeless romantic kind of thing is always felt like a disservice to her character and what it could have been about. Because her whole thing is like she has like what makes her interesting is that she has a quirk that is so clearly not for a sane person. And it's really sad, you know, because it functions off of, you know, madness. Like it functions off of, you know, death and blood and it's really hard to find like an easy solution. Like it's hard to find a solution to a problem like that, and people take the easy route of just exiling her or treating her like she's not human, you know? And that's what her story could have been about. But instead, it just boils down to her. Oh, I love Deku, and I also love Ochaka. Oh no, but you're a hero and I'm a villain. What a sad world we live in. Like,
Damn, man, parade.
like, come on,
Oh,
man.
what a sad
Like,
world.
it's so uninteresting, and it's all one-sided, and it just it melts down both Ochako and Toga. Like this subplot doesn't benefit either of them. It makes them both weaker, in my opinion. And it's horribly out of place for what's going on in the series right now. And I don't think this is something that should have been resolved before this. And this should have been the payoff to it being resolved before. Like maybe things went wrong between them in that conversation, and then now this is them having to fight because that fell out. Or maybe there's like before it was more open-ended and maybe she could get under her skin, but it's just like not worth it. I don't think this is a good subplot. And I'm a little disappointed that it's being carried over into a battlefield where more interesting shit is going down, literally.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I mean, beat a dead horse, why don't you? I also don't give a shit about this weird subplot. I mean, you know, like I think there's something interesting to be said about Toga's thing. Like Brian said, you know, it's about like somebody who is kind of mentally unhinged and just so happens to have a pretty violent ability, all things considered. And you know, it just feels like there's a disconnect between that and the wanting to be people you love thing that I've never fully understand or felt. Like I guess it goes to a power of mimicry, you know, where she could be somebody else, and you know, the strength of her power is dependent on how much she loved the person, and that's why she's able to use Twice's quirk and able to use Ochako's quirk and all that stuff. So I guess there's a parallel here, you know, someone who just wants to be loved and loves a lot, but is also mentally unhinged that doesn't know how to really express that. But it is boiled. It does boil down to I love this boy type shit, and the And it does make Ochako a little lesser because her character is almost already entirely based on Deku. So yeah, I feel like of all the League of Villains, this is like one of his weird missteps where there's something here, but it is weirdly, it's just like not expressed well enough for me to really identify and understand with it. Or maybe it's just the way it's written, because I understand what he's trying to do. It's about this person who is unable to show affection in any other way than this weird violent thing she's got going on. There are probably people in the world like that, like murderers and stuff like that who think that way. But yeah, I don't know. It is strange the way it's executed, I suppose. I'm just not identifying with Toga like I am the rest of the league. And maybe there was a better way for Horikoshi to do that than just to give this weird love triangle dynamic that didn't need to be a thing. I don't know. It's tough. But we have all these plot lines converging at one point, and hopefully they all like kind of bounce off each other in an interesting way. But we'll see. We're actually, okay, My Hero is coming out next week. Cool.
Nice.
I just wanted to make sure.
That'll be there.
That will be there. Oh, so one thing, I actually got kind of confused at the sequence of events in the last 2 pages. Just because like the to be continued is on the page before the actual last page, and I'm like, wait, is this supposed to be swapped around? Because then we see like the sequence of action of Uraraka being thrown through the portal in the first place, and then all these reaction shots, and then all of a sudden we see Ochako zooming through the portal, and I'm like, is that supposed to be the real last page, or it just felt a little weird? I don't know about you guys.
Horikoshi does that sometimes, where he'll have like the last page, and then it'll be like extra. There'll be still more pages.
Yeah,
after.
I don't know if it's a printing
Yo,
error.
sometimes I missed the last page because of that. It didn't happen this week, but
yeah, sometimes I wonder, is this like a weird printing error? Because I feel like the sequence of events, it's not just that the to be continued is like on this page. It's also like they're zooming through the hole, but the page after that is Asui throwing her through the hole, like through the portal. So it feels a little like confusing. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't think that was like his intention, but I could be wrong there as well. I don't know. I have no idea.